You're aware of the name of this ship, aren't you, Mr. Cobb?
Very aware, sir.
It bears a proud name, doesn't it, Mr. Cobb?
Very proud, sir.
It represents fine people.
Very fine people, sir.
Who live in a fine, outstanding state.
Outstanding, sir.
In the greatest country in the entire world.
In the entire world, sir.
And what is that name, Mr. Cobb?
Alabama, sir.
And what do we say?
Alabama.
Roll Tide!
Crimson Tide is a 1995 thriller film directed by Tony Scott and produced by Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer that would find critical acclaim and box office success. In Russia, civil war breaks out during an ongoing conflict in Chechnya. An ultra-nationalist rebel, Vladimir Rodchenko, played by Daniel von Bargen, and his military units take control of a nuclear missile installation in the Russian Far East. Rodchenko threatens nuclear attack against the United States and Japan.
If one Russian citizen is killed, and I am president, then I will kill 900,000 of the people who are responsible.
You'd use nuclear weapons?
Yes.
The USS Alabama, a United States Navy ballistic missile submarine, is dispatched to patrol in the Pacific Ocean near the Russian Far East. Combat-hardened veteran Captain Frank Ramsey, played by Gene Hackman, chooses Lieutenant Commander Ron Hunter, played by Denzel Washington, to be his new XO. Hunter has an extensive Annapolis and Harvard education, but no combat experience.
As you no doubt heard, my XO has appendicitis. He's the best I ever had. I need a good man to fill his spot. Your name was at the top of the list.
Well, that's good to know, sir.
It was a short list. Your interest, Mr. Hunter, what do you like to do? Do you paint, play ball, play an instrument, ride motorcycles? What?
Ride horses.
Horses?
You ever ridden one?
Me? Are you kidding? Yeah, horses, they're fascinating animals. Dumb as fence posts, but very intuitive. In that way, they're not too different from high school girls. They might not have a brain in their head, but they do know all the boys want to fuck them. You don't have to be able to read Ulysses to know where they're coming from.
No, sir.
Welcome aboard the Alabama, son. Do me proud.
I will, sir.
Once on board, Communications Officer Lieutenant Roy Zimmer, played by Matt Craven, Weapons Officer Lieutenant Peter Ince, played by Viggo Mortensen, Supply Officer Lieutenant Robert Dougherty, played by James Gandolfini, and the Operations Officer Lieutenant Derek Westergaard, played by Rocky Carroll, discuss the situation involving Rodchenko.
He's a dangerous lunatic, and he's threatening nuclear war, and he means it.
What's that make us, since we're the only nation ever dropped a nuclear bomb on anyone?
It makes us a prime target.
What are you, a communist? You have a problem with us dropping nuclear bombs in Japan?
You think it was a mistake, Mr. Hunter?
Sir?
Using the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Well, if I thought that, sir, I wouldn't be here.
Interesting way you put that.
How'd I put it, sir?
Very carefully. Somebody asked me if we should have bombed Japan. A simple yes. By all means, sir. Drop that fucker. Twice.
Tensions rise when Captain Ramsey orders a missile drill test amidst a fire in the galley.
Weapon systems readiness test. Been involved.
What the hell is he running a missile drill now for? You're in charge.
Aye, sir.
When the chief mess officer goes into cardiac arrest, Ramsey terminates the drill.
Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? We received word that one of our shipmates is experiencing a medical problem. We're terminating the drill.
The chief mess officer dies after resuscitation attempts fail. Ramsey and Hunter find themselves in disagreement about having run the missile drill.
Would you have run the drill?
No, sir, I would not.
Why not?
The fire in the galley could have flared back up. I would have seen to it first, sir.
I'm sure you would have. Me, on the other hand, I tend to think that that's the best time to run a drill. Take a seat. Those sailors out there are just boys. Boys who are training to do a terrible and unthinkable thing. And if that ever occurs, the only reassurance they'll have that they're doing the proper thing is going to derive from their unqualified belief in the unified chain of command. That means, in a missile drill, they hear your voice right after mine, without hesitation. Do you agree with that policy, sailor?
Absolutely, sir.
Alabama receives an emergency action message informing them that the Russian nuclear launch codes have been compromised, and they are now at DEFCON 3.
Should our satellites detect rebel missiles being fueled, which means they could be launched in just over 1 hour, we'll be compelled to act.
As the crew becomes more and more tense and Soviet submarines cruise nearby, another emergency action message arrived.
Alpha.
Bravo, Echo, Echo, Charlie, Alpha, Tango, Alpha.
Message is authentic, sir.
I concur, sir.
I concur, sir.
Message is authentic.
Ordering the launch of nuclear missiles.
The release of nuclear weapons has been authorized. Go to my stateroom for the launch keys.
Second issue, 1SQ for strategic missile launch. Spin-up missiles 1 through 5, 20 through 24. The release of nuclear weapons has been authorized. This is the XO.
Alabama prepares to fire their missiles when another emergency action message arrives. However, a rebel Russian Akula-class submarine attacks them, damaging the Alabama's radio and leaving the emergency action message incomplete.
We lost it when the radio buoy cable got severed.
With the last confirmed order being to launch, Ramsey decides to proceed.
What do you think?
I think there's nothing on this.
Yes, sir. It got cut off during the attack.
Then it's meaningless.
Sir, this is an EAM pertaining to nuclear missile
No,
launch.
Mr. Hunter. That's a message fragment.
Because it got cut off during the attack, so the message can mean anything. It can be a message to a board. It can be a message.
It could be a fake Russian transmission.
Which is exactly why we need to confirm, sir.
Hunter disagrees, believing that the partial second message could be a retraction.
Every second that we lose increases the chances that by the time our missiles arrive, their silos could be empty because they'd flown their birds and struck us first.
Yes, sir.
You know as well as I do that any launch order received without authentication is no order at all.
Yeah,
That's our number one rule.
National
That rule is the basis for the scenario we've trained on time and time again.
All I'm saying...
We're all very well aware what our orders are and what those orders mean. They come down from our commander-in-chief. They contain no ambiguity.
Captain.
Mr. Hunter, I've made a decision. I'm captain of this boat. Now shut the fuck up!
Tensions flare, and the chief of the boat, Walters, played by George Zunza, sides with Hunter.
I say again, I order you to place the XO under arrest on the charge of mutiny. Come!
Captain, please, the XO is right. We can't launch unless he concurs.
To the USS Alabama. Rebel-controlled missiles being fueled. Launch codes compromised. Dissonance. Threaten launch at continental United States. Set DEFCON 2. Immediately launch 10 Trident missile sorties. They're fueling their missiles! We don't have time to fuck around!
And has Ramsey relieved of his command and confined to his stateroom, putting Hunter in charge.
You're way out of your league, Hunter. You're not ready to make tough decisions yet.
Nevertheless, Walters reiterates to Lieutenant Commander Hunter that he could be wrong.
Thank you, God.
Thank you. Fuck you. Get it straight, Mr. Hunter, I'm not on your side. Now, you could be wrong. But wrong or right, the captain can't just replace you at will. That was completely improper.
I thank you anyway.
Eventually, the officers and crew loyal to Ramsey unite, retaking the control room.
Crew of the USS Alabama. An attempted mutiny has been put down. We'll achieve launch depth as quickly as we can for strategic missile launch.
Captain Ramsey remains determined to proceed with the missile launch. As radio operator Petty Officer 3rd Class Russell Vossler, played by Lilo Brancato, desperately tries to fix the radio to get the rest of the incomplete EAN, Commander Hunter reminds him of what is at stake.
If we launch and we're wrong, what's left of Russia is going to launch at us. There will be a nuclear holocaust beyond imagination. So it's all about knowing, Mr. Vossler. Tell him to not get this radio up. 1 billion people are going to die. Now it's all up to you. I know that's a shitty deal, but you got it. Can you handle it?
This movie was inspired by a novel of the same name written by Richard P. Hendrick, based on his story and the screenplay he co-wrote with Michael Schiffer. The novel was released the same year as the movie. The refusal of an executive officer to agree in launching nuclear weapons due to a fragment order is partially based on a similar incident allegedly during the Cuban Missile Crisis in October 1962. The Soviet submarine B-59 attempted to infiltrate the United States naval blockade by running submerged. When United States destroyers dropped signal depth charges to force the sub to the surface, the Soviet captain believed war had broken out. His sentiments were concurred by the onboard political officer. However, his second-in-command, the flotilla commodore, refused. Director Tony Scott obtained footage of the real USS Alabama departing Pearl Harbor. A paid civilian informant tipped off Tony Scott to the day and time of the departure from port, a violation of Navy ship movement regulations. While the Navy issued a formal protest about its equipment in the film being used without permission, it was not illegal as the submarine was in public view. Ironically, Tony Scott was hoping to obtain footage of an Ohio-class submarine in motion on the surface. The fact that it was the actual USS Alabama was sheer coincidence. The United States Navy found the subject of the film objectionable and inaccurate. It refused to provide any assistance in the movie making. The Alabama's bridge was built on a huge hydraulic gimbal. The gimbal tilted the set to simulate the submarine's dive angles. This was the same gimbal used for the 1990 film The Hunt for Red October. The movie was filmed between August and December 1994. Writer and director Quentin Tarantino was brought in to do uncredited punch-ups of the dialogue. According to a 1995 Premiere magazine article, when Quentin Tarantino visited the set, Denzel Washington confronted him about his use of slurs in his films. Tarantino got embarrassed and wanted to move the conversation to a private area. Denzel Washington said, "No, if we're going to discuss it, let's discuss it now." In a 2012 interview with GQ magazine, Denzel Washington said that he had contacted Quentin Tarantino a few years later and apologized. He also called Tarantino a fine artist. The title Crimson Tide comes from the name of the University of Alabama sports teams that was coined in 1907. Heavy rain during the games often mixed with the iron-rich red mud and turned it into red sludge matching the players' red jerseys, hence looking like a crimson tide. The movie title could also be a play on the fact that the USS Alabama is on alert for the possibility of nuclear war and bloodshed with the Red Communist. Andy Garcia was one of the early choices for the role of Lieutenant Commander Hunter. Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise were also considered for the part. Denzel Washington took this role so he would have an opportunity to, quote, be in there jousting with a master, end quote. The master being, of course, actor Gene Hackman. Michael Schiffer wrote the part of Captain Ramsey specifically with Gene Hackman in mind. Al Pacino, Tommy Lee Jones, and Warren Beatty were offered the role, and Dennis Hopper and Jon Voight were considered. The cigars that Captain Ramsey and Lieutenant Commander Hunter smoke at the beginning of the mission were made by Monte Cristo. The brand was made in Cuba and the Dominican Republic by two different companies. Ramsey says they're more expensive than drugs, implying that theirs were the Cuban-made variety. Gene Hackman served in the United States Marine Corps from 1946 to 1951. This may be why he wears a hat with the Marine Corps colors throughout the film, instead of a hat with the Navy colors. Born in 1930, Gene Hackman was 65 years old when this film came out in 1995, 3 years older than the mandatory retirement age for Navy captains. Crimson Tide submerged itself into movie theaters on May 12, 1995, and was a large box office hit, grossing a total of $157.4 million on a $53 million budget. Crimson Tide was the 8th highest grossing film in the United States in 1995. President Bill Clinton screened the movie at the White House on June 2, 1995. At the 68th Academy Awards in March of 1996, Crimson Tide was nominated for 3 Academy Awards for film editing, sound, and sound editing. Critics were favorable to this movie, and I have to agree. I first saw this movie when I rented it around 2004 or so, and I remember enjoying it greatly. As the years go by since the movie's release, this one actually has gained quite a good reputation among movie fans. People you talk to, people you see online, movie reactors, Even younger generations, even people born after this movie came out, in fact, many think that this movie is some of Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington's best work. And I agree. The movie makes compelling arguments for both characters. It really does. I highly recommend the 1995 submarine thriller, Crimson Tide.